and welcome back to the Nova Show Real Estate Records. I'm Karla Rivera, your host, and today I have a really special guest with me. His name is Joseph Gordon. I want to tell you a little bit about him. So what really sets Joe apart is that he is highly specialized in certified divorce real estate. He works closely with family law attorneys, mediators, and he helps clients navigate the emotional and financial challenges of real estate during divorce. Joe is currently the only real estate professional in Utah teaching continuing legal education for the state bar, which is amazing. And his expertise spans complex and high conflict cases, expert witness testimony, and navigating sensitive legal situations with neutrality and professionalism. If you're curious about how real estate and law intersect or how to build a powerful niche, this conversation is definitely one for you. So super excited to get into it. And Joe, thank you so much for being here with me today.
Thanks for letting me hang out. That
Of course.
That was an amazing intro. I'm impressed.
Well, and honestly, there's so much to say about Joe. So that was just a brief part of it. And I'm excited to get into it more, which really just let's find out what brought you into real estate. And did you imagine that you would be in a divorce niche when you first got started?
Not at all. Not at all. So I got into real estate 15 years ago. Prior to that, I was working at Nordstrom selling shirts and ties, and decided I wanted to sell bigger stuff. So I bumped into a friend of mine in the mall, and he said, "You should come try this." And then I got into it for 11 years. And then,
Wow.
and then what you asked how I got into the divorce thing?
Yeah. Or if you thought that was going to be your niche, like what was the turning point when you realized you're uniquely suited for this?
So after like 11 years in the industry, I started to get really unhappy. I felt like I just really wanted to shake things up and I guess I really wanted to have expertise in one particular area. I actually read this book. Everyone's heard of The Millionaire Next Door. Everyone's heard that book.
Oh, okay.
There's a book. The guy
I
that
haven't, so
it's a great book. The guy that wrote that, though, his first book was called Networking with the Affluent, and in the book he said, whatever industry you're in, it's a really powerful way to do it is to go after one particular group of clientele. Excuse me. So I read that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I read that book, and I was in my garage running on the treadmill. And I was watching YouTube videos, and I came across this video of this broker in Southern California, and she was a divorce real estate expert, and that was about 4 years ago.
Okay.
And I had gone through a divorce prior to that, and anyone that's had the pleasure of going through a divorce knows how fun it is. It's such a
What
blast.
a good choice of words, Joe. Way to stay
It's
positive.
so fun. It's just the best. It's so easy. No, but yeah, and then it just struck me like I had that experience myself, and I thought, man, I think I could really get into this. And the more I studied and learned and immersed myself, I got kind of obsessed. I kind of really geeked out on working in the family law space, and that's how it started.
I love that.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, let me rephrase. I don't love that you had to experience a divorce, right, to kind of lead you into it, but it sounds like you really took it and have created something wonderful, and now you're showing up and you can support people navigating through it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is there anyone that you think really influenced your career early on, and what did that look like for you?
Like really early on,
Or just like a mentor, right? Like anybody.
For sure. So my first mentor was a guy named George Morris, and I remember I was 6 months into the business, and I was done. I was like, I'm out. Can I swear? I can't swear on here. Can I? Can I say?
Yeah.
Can I say BS?
You can say BS,
This
and
is
if you happen to swear, we'll edit.
just beep it out. This is bull beep. But I was
Yeah.
like, this is BS. Like I was cold calling for sale by owners and expireds, and I sat down with him, and I literally was in tears, and I'm like, I'm out, man. I can't do this anymore. And you don't cry in front of dudes that often, so when you do, it
means a lot.
It means
yes.
a lot. And so I'll never forget, he said to me, no, you can do this. You're one of the few that'll do this. Like, you're not going to quit. He totally did his thing and assumed the sale with me. He's like,
he gave you no out.
no, he's like, you're not quitting. Like you're one of the guys that will actually do this and be okay. And so that's always stuck with me. I
love that.
yeah, I went, working in in the family. Literally, almost all my work is in divorce cases now, and you're dealing with people going through heartache and financial strain and all these different emotions. And when things get hard, when I'm really trying to navigate that, I always remember that is that, no, we got this. We're going to be just fine. And I say that to my clients.
I was going to ask, so do you find yourself mirroring that because it's what helped you, right, in the beginning when you were wanting to give up on real estate, so now you're able to apply it to your own clients?
100%. And, when people are breaking down and bawling and feel like they're losing their whole identity and their money, and no, we're going to get through this. We're going to be good. You got this, every step of the way. And the house represents the most people's biggest asset. So
absolutely.
Yeah. So that's always, so shout out to George, shout out.
Oh, yeah. I'm sure he'll be so grateful to hear that he was such a big impact for you.
Yeah. He's a great guy.
And hey, kind of just staying right along with this, I'm sure that it's helpful to your clients that you really are relatable. Like, hey, you know what? I've been through something similar. I've got you. Let's go through this together.
Oh, totally. Yeah. I probably have that conversation with 5 or 6 people a week where I tell them I give them a little bit of my story.
Yeah.
And I can just see that hope in their eyes. Like, okay, I'm going to live.
Absolutely. Well, and the truth is people would prefer to work with someone they can relate to. Yeah. Especially in such a sensitive situation.
Yeah. Empathy is key.
Yeah. I love that you're the only realtor here in Utah. Like, what an amazing, you struck gold there, right? It's like, you got it. It's your baby, and let's rock and roll.
I think there's a handful I know of that do divorce work. But it surprises me. There's a tremendous need for it. I'm going to throw out some stats. I mean, last year there were just over 6,000 divorces filed in the state of Utah.
Oh, wow. Just last year, you said?
Last year, 6,000, give or take.
Dang.
40% had a court order to sell the marital property. So that's 2,400 home sales that need to be managed. And sorry, I looked away from my microphone.
These mics can be a little sensitive.
Yeah, but that's 2,400 home sales that are distressed, and who's gonna manage that? And with some training, I mean, there's a tremendous need for it. But I think that when I first started, there was a lot of intimidation to go reach out to attorneys. Now I have a ton that are my friends, but there's this kind of social stigma with attorneys, like, oh, they're going to be jerks. They won't talk to you. They're just people with families doing what we're doing. And, but there's a huge need for it. I think we're at the beginning of seeing more of that.
I wanted to touch on that because you've mentioned a couple times there's a big need for it. So what does that look like for you? Are you wanting to grow a team bigger? Are you, any thoughts there?
Yeah. So, my goal is always 10 to 15% growth annually. That's what I want to do. That's what I've done for about the last 5 years.
Okay.
And I haven't really put a ceiling on that. But really in the divorce real estate niche, it's really just a matter of training up your people. So right now there's a team of 4 of us.
Great.
Yeah, there's a team of 4 of us. I have my operations manager that basically she's a transaction coordinator, but does so much more because she's talking to the parties and the court orders and dealing with all this kind of stuff. And then my wife, Monique, manages our office, does all of our marketing to the attorneys. And then Tayson is my showing agent. So and he's also our field agent. So he's going out to the properties, installing signs, key boxes, doing walkthroughs, doing all that kind of stuff. So it's really just a matter of training people up to a higher level. My business model doesn't require a lot of people.
Right.
It just requires a more efficient level of systems. I rarely meet it's funny, the language changes. I don't call them clients, I call them the parties.
Yeah. That makes sense. Yeah. Because you're dealing with decrees.
Yeah. Like I rarely meet them in person. Everything's done through Zoom, and my field agent does the walkthrough, and a lot of it's virtual. It's a different model than a traditional model. But
I know. I actually, nothing to do with this, but we're very fortunate to have Joe Gordon here in the house because he tried to do a Zoom with me, but I'm like, no, Joe, this is going to be live. So thank you for your time.
Yes.
Yes, we got you in the flesh, so I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Well, hey, I did want to ask you, what is one lesson you can think of that you had to learn the hard way? And would it, but okay, so let me back up. It was a hard lesson, but you wouldn't trade it. It helped kind of just identify who you are or how you do business now.
Do you mean just with business in general?
Yeah, or whatever. If it also impacted your life,
Sure.
that you wouldn't trade it for anything now.
The the biggest lesson I learned early on, um, that I still think about every day is initially I didn't put enough value on relationships, and really really getting strategic and purposeful about building relationships. It's one thing to have a database and to have referral partners and have people like that you're calling once a quarter and inviting them to two events and sending them a piece of mail and doing like these touches. And
Right. Like that's probably
I
just the
almost
bare
swore
minimum
again,
run.
and
Hey,
shiz
if
like
you
that.
if you happen to
But
swear, we can edit it. So
I just want it to be beeped out. It'd be so funny. I'll
I
play it
would
for my
love-
mom. She'll be
I would
like,
love to put
Joseph.
in that request. Hey, instead of cutting it on Joe's, could you just add the beep?
Yeah, just
Let's try it.
and then I'll let my mom hear it and she'll be all offended. Um,
That's awesome.
yeah, so it literally I was literally in the industry for like 3 years before I started. I hired a coach and they were like, "Oh, you got to like go all in on relationships." And so now, I mean, I do a lot. The divorce real estate work is my main thing, but I still have my database, my past clients. I do about 30% traditional business,
Yeah.
and
Of course,
and
because these people are coming back and you've already built that trust in a relationship.
yeah,
Makes sense.
so we go deep. I mean, the attorneys that I do business with, I have my team stalk them on Facebook. I know
Love that.
I know they're. I'm probably going to get sued or a restraining order for saying
my
this.
God.
Sorry, attorneys, but like I make it a point to know their birthdays, where they eat, their hobbies, their sports teams. So if we have a case together, I can do something nice, or happy birthday, I appreciate you, or
Yeah, just making it more personal is what it sounds like.
yeah. So that was something I learned early on. I didn't do that for a few years. I almost left the industry, and then fortunately, I hired a coach that was like, you got to get strategic about relationships. And that was a big one.
Hey, that's kind of a commonality I keep hearing with top producers like yourself is that getting a coach is crucial, whether it's for business or life and everything like that. So, do you feel like that's also helped change the trajectory of your business? Or can you tell me a little bit more about that?
Yeah. The hands down, the greatest growth I've had, it personally and professionally, has been because of coaches and mentors. That's it. It's taking all their experience and compressing it. I had somebody tell me once, you can either have 10 years of frustration or 6 months and
For
have
sure.
the same kind of growth. But yeah, I mean, I had that coach early on. I coached with another company for 5 years that helped us blow up, and then for the last 3 years, I've had my coach who is the number one divorce real estate coach in the country, and who's in LA, that I found
Oh, wow.
online. When I watched that interview,
So you're still obviously meeting with the coach.
Yeah,
and
she trained me.
continuing your growth there.
yeah, so I watched
I
that
love
interview.
that.
I literally called her office and was like, "Hey, I need to meet you and learn how to do this." And so it's important.
Good.
Yeah.
Well, I like to hear that. So let's kind of shift gears. I'd love to hear what a typical day looks like for you. I think it's important to know, especially when you are producing at such a high level. You're a family man as well, right? And so there's many different areas that you have to be pivoting in, and daily routines are important. So what does that look like for you?
So as you know, and whoever's listening to this, mindset in our industry or any sales industry is everything.
Very important.
Rejection can be hard. It can throw you. So I'm in the gym 4 or 5 days a week. I have to do that. That's my therapy. That sets the tone. If I miss a couple days, it totally throws me. So
Yeah.
movement is key for me. So a typical day, up at 6, workout, 6:30 to usually 7:30, get in the office 8:30, 9. And then I'm running my day. So I apply a lot of the same principles that I learned early on in my career with prospecting, my prospecting is all to attorneys though. So,
Yeah.
so I don't,
Just a different,
it's the only business I prospect. Yeah. So
different party.
it's a different party, same principle though.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Notice how I changed that from
Yeah.
client to party.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Different party. But yeah, I have about 298 family law attorneys on my list, and I reach out to 15 a day. So they're getting they're getting a call from me once every 6 weeks. But it's not traditional prospecting because attorneys are, and for those of you thinking of doing this, this will be helpful. You can't cold call attorneys. They will not take your call.
They're like, let me send you the bill for that.
Yeah, because they're all billable hours. And so there's a process to it to where we are marketing that to them by dropping off small gifts. And
so more like the pop buys.
yeah,
right?
yeah. So
A lot of us kind of know them like that.
right. So they're getting a pop buy from us with a small gift once a quarter. And then the classes that I teach for the Utah State Bar, I invite attorneys to those. And so then if I'm calling them, I have a reason to be calling them versus just like, hey, can I help you with a case? That's garbage. But if I'm inviting them to a CLE or I dropped off a gift, my number one goal is to have a face-to-face. That's the goal.
Yeah,
so
of course.
my metrics every week, sorry if I'm drawing on.
No,
too much,
actually, this is something I was going to ask you is how did that opportunity come about for you to be able to teach those CLE classes? Because I know that's not something that just lands in your lap.
Yeah, no. So my mentor, her name's Laurel Starks. She runs a group called the Alumni Institute. She's the one that her group created the CLE that we're able to put our own flavor on, and then I was able to go to the bar and get that approved.
Okay, so it's like the classes you're teaching, similar to CE, you have to present it, and then they'll say yes.
Right, and just as realtors have to get CE, they have to get CLE.
Got it.
So, but the whole idea there is that puts you in a position of expertise and authority. So the attorneys are like, oh, because I'm a college dropout, and they went to school for 8 years, and so they respect education.
Of course. Well, it's still education. I have a lot to say behind the whole college thing, but I know plenty of people that are more educated that didn't necessarily do college. So
well, and any attorney that you talk to will tell you they know a little bit about a lot. And so their job is to choose experts that know a lot about a little thing. And so they're bringing in the custody evaluator, the therapist, the financial advisor, the the real estate person, because they're like, they don't sell homes, but they need someone that can. And so, but that's really the typical day. To get back to what you asked is, I'm reaching out to 15 attorneys a day, 5 people on my database a day. My goal is to set up 3 lunches or face-to-faces a week and to teach 2 classes a month. And
I love that. It's very specific, right? And then, so tell me, I guess also though, just to come back, what was it that did open that opportunity to start teaching the classes? Was there a specific moment or person?
It's so funny how this works. So I reached out to the Utah State Bar 3.5 years ago and asked them if I could sponsor an event. And the guy I talked to was like, what? He's like, what do you do again? I'm like, oh, I'm a real estate broker. I'm a divorce real estate expert though. And he's like, yeah, we've never had a real estate person sponsor an event at the bar. It's kind of weird, man. And I'm like, he didn't say that, but he was
but you're
hinting.
like, hey, let me be the first.
Yeah. And he was like, well, yeah, if you could. So I paid, I think it was like $1,000 and sponsored an event. And I got to be in the room with like 300 attorneys, and I was scared to death and didn't know what to say. But then the next year I did it again, and the next year I did it again. And so when this content was created by my mentor, it was a phone call. I'd reached out and he was like, yeah, totally. We'll set it up. Let's do it. And so it's kind of like that, never burn a bridge.
Of course.
Stay friends, keep in touch.
But I think also just you hit something really big. I think that people don't realize, but you were willing to put yourself in a room with the people you're trying to attract, right? So regardless of how comfortable or not it was, you were there and you were consistent.
Yeah.
So those are big keys that I think are why people then started trusting you and those opportunities opened up.
That's actually a great point. The being willing to get so uncomfortable. I mean, I'll give you one example. My first pop by I ever did, I walked into the largest family law firm in the state,
Oh wow.
and I had my
Just went for it
I had
head
my
on.
little thing,
Love that.
my thing of treats, and I went in there and I like opened the door, and they were having a firm meeting. So I
Wow.
interrupted this meeting, and they looked up, and the partner looked
Like,
at me.
who's this guy?
The owner looked at me, and I'm like, "Hey," and I just started handing out little treats, and I'm like, and they're like, "What do you do?" And then I was just like, "Get out of here, dude! They're never gonna work with you ever again." Like that was 3.5 years ago. Okay. So
But like, what was that conversation like? What
So
did
I
you
w-
say to them?
I was just
Yeah.
like, "Oh, I'm so sorry for interrupting. I'm a divorce real estate expert. I'm Joe Gordon. We manage the sale of the real property for our attorneys' cases. Just want to drop off some information and some small gifts. We appreciate you guys. Sorry, interrupted. It was very brief.
Yeah.
And then fast forward 3 years, the owner of that firm and I are friends. We text each other regularly.
Yeah.
He'll be on a trip. He'll text me and he says to me every day, "Hey, you need anything, man, let me know." But it started with this just horrible, awkward interruption of their meeting. And I'm like, they'll never work with me ever. The guy that manages his firm is a friend of mine now. And we've had lunch.
I love that.
Yeah. So it's just kind of, I guess I would say, get uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Nothing
That's the best
happens unless
advice, I think.
Yeah.
The quicker you get uncomfortable, the better it's going to be.
Right, yeah, it sucks that it's true, but it's so
Yeah.
true. Yeah.
I love this. Okay, so I actually have another question, and it is about being uncomfortable, honestly. What do you think the biggest misconception is that you get from attorneys and parties or clients about working with a real estate expert?
I think the biggest, like how they misconceive what we do.
Yeah, like the value. Like, why would I work with you?
Because a divorce real estate expert is a fairly new technology. It's a new
role.
It's a new level of expertise, and so I get court appointed on cases where I'm actually written on the orders. Wow. Yeah, so I'm literally like ordered.
Like they're like, you need to work with Joe because he's gonna help.
Yeah. So if both counsel, both their counsel.
Hey, you use your lingo, my friend. We're gonna get it.
Yeah. So if both counsel are familiar with me and what we do, and the mediator is familiar, then they say, "Hey, you have a high conflict case. You need to sell some real property. We're not going to just pick 3 names and and your ex picks one." Because there's so many nuances to navigating this. Like it could be really bad and expensive.
Yeah.
And so the biggest challenge I run into is attorneys just not being familiar at all with the value, being like
I'm already an attorney. What do I need you for?
Well, kind of like, well, we'll just give the parties 3 names and they'll pick one, and like the other side will pick a name, and then that person will sell the house. But what happens is if the language in the order isn't written very clearly, or if there are things going on within the case that the attorneys don't know about, then 6 months later the house hasn't been sold. They've fired the realtor, and they're still waiting on the home sale. And then they do what's called a modification of the order, and then they'll usually appoint us, and then we go in and take care of it. But attorneys, because they're not familiar with my role, a lot of them just don't know about it. So
it sounds like it ends up wasting more time and money to not just go this route in the first place.
Yeah. And I mean, I'll give you one example. We've had cases where the parties didn't tell the attorney that the home was going into foreclosure next month. And so they go to mediation and they say, "Okay, the home will be listed within 90 days. And, Joe Gordon, CDRE, will manage the sale of the property, blah, blah, blah." And then we get it.
And you're like, "Hey, surprise."
Right. So there's another CLE class that I'm starting to teach now that's called proper intake for, in so many words, for attorneys, so they know the questions to ask the parties about the home before they go to mediation. Because if it's going to foreclosure, if there's a foundation issue, if there's a roof issue, all of that affects the sale.
Of course.
And so that's just helping them educate, like, "Oh yeah, we need to know what's going on with the house."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
I love that. And then I guess, there's so many high emotions as you're navigating through this. There are in real estate anyway, but specifically with divorce, I can imagine. How do you stay neutral and grounded through it all?
Um, I would say going back to what I said earlier, I have to be really proactive about protecting my energy
Okay.
and my mindset, and just because, when I get on the phone with someone that's bawling
Mm-hmm.
and saying this other person ruined their life, and they're telling me about the new boyfriend, the new girlfriend, the line of credit on the house for 100,000 that was taken out and they didn't know about it, now they're going to lose that. Like, I mean, I have people too that have, I literally would talk for 5 minutes with them and they'll just start yelling at me and be
Oh,
like,
jeez.
I don't know you and I don't know why they appointed you and blah, 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 blah. And they just, but I'm so, I guess you could say, accustomed to understanding that it's all just, they're just suffering.
Yeah.
That's all it is. And so, what was your question again?
No, you're good. Just, I was wondering how you stay grounded
Oh,
through
yeah,
it
yeah.
all, or
So-
neutral, right? Because high emotions are easy to take on, I think, especially when you are
Right.
empathetic and you've been through something similar. And so I just wonder, when you're dealing with all those high emotions and complications, what do you do to stay grounded and neutral?
Okay. So number one, protecting my energy and my mindset's
Yeah.
number one. Number two is I have to be very purposeful and very thoughtful about what I say and what I text and what I email, because one word can do what my mentor taught me. It can be what's called a grenade.
Yeah.
So like
We don't want any of any of that.
yeah. So like, for example, if we have an offer come in on the house, if I reach out to the wife and I say, this is the offer that came in, these are my suggestions on how we move forward. Your ex-husband thinks it's a good idea. What do you think? Then it's going to make her
That's
feel like,
very triggering, I'm
oh,
sure. They're like,
I'm
oh,
getting
wait,
dinged.
who's, yeah.
Right. Or if I call him and say, hey, the house needs to be deep cleaned. She's pretty upset that you left it in pretty bad shape. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I have to be very thoughtful to say, these are my recommendations. I don't, it's a lot of thoughtful preparation before any communication,
Yeah.
because the littlest thing can trigger that, and it's not perfect. But
So does it kind of just come back to you then? Like you mentioned, these are my recommendations, leaving the other party out so that it doesn't pique the emotion.
So this is why I teach that CLE, because
Yeah.
the CLE I teach is called Orders, Terms, and Practices That Can Sink Your Client's Equity. And in there, I talk about why it's so important that there's language saying that if the parties cannot agree on certain things, they will go with the recommendations of the real estate expert. Because if you don't have that, it's left up to a fight.
Yeah.
And then things get drug out. And so that's why I do that CLE, to say, hey, here's recommendations to make sure that doesn't
happen.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then as far as these classes, Joe, I'm just curious, are these open to all of our real estate community, or how does that work?
So it's just to members of the Utah State Bar. You have to
Okay.
plug in your bar number and stuff like that. Yeah.
Okay, so more
So-
attorney.
Mhm.
And, got
Yeah.
it. Well, I know it sounds like you're definitely looking for growth still, but within the team you've already created, what does your real estate career look like, you think, in the next 5 years? I'd love to hear more about that.
Oh man. I would really love to get to a point where I could start educating on what we do. I think getting to a certain number of transactions is awesome, a certain amount of growth.
Mm-hmm.
My dream has always been to have a small team that's very highly paid and very highly trained, and
Very
that's
efficient.
it. Efficient.
Yeah,
Everyone
love
makes all the money they want to make. They are good at what they do. That to me is the dream team. But I would really enjoy educating and teaching, others that want to get into the niche, because there is a need for it,
I love that. I think
Yeah.
a lot of people could benefit from learning, especially when you've already been doing it well for quite some time.
Trying to do it well.
You are. I've been
Yeah.
impressed. I remember when you were first telling me about it.
Yeah.
I ran into you and you told me this was something you were going to get into. So
I just stopped saying that because I would talk to people and they'd be like, "Yeah, you're nuts, dude. That's the worst."
oh, I never thought
Those
that.
are
I
the
was
worst
like,
clients.
oh, cool. Like, let's see what happens.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm proud of you. Like I've
Thanks.
seen your growth and it's amazing. So
Thanks.
Yeah.
You too.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Well, I guess two questions here, but what would be, you've given quite a bit of advice already, and thank you for that, but what would be a good piece of advice to other real estate professionals that are interested in getting into this niche? And then I'll ask you the next one after that.
That are interested in getting into this. Is it pronounced niche or niche?
I say niche, but I'm probably wrong. English is my second language, Joe.
I've wondered that
no
my
need
whole
to
life.
throw her elbows there.
I'm just gonna say Nietzsche.
Yeah.
Nietzsche.
Make it French. I don't know. Because you say it how you say it.
Niche.
Okay.
Niche sounds more.
I mean, is there even a T though? Let's see.
Yeah, I just said niche. I think I'm saying
Yeah,
it wrong.
I don't know.
Niche. I think niche is
I
right.
think you can say it either way.
Okay.
Potato.
Tomato. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, I just blew like a minute of your podcast talking about niches and niches.
It's okay. Before we
Yeah.
did this, I said I hope you're still funny. So
I felt a lot of pressure. You better
you're
be funny,
meeting
Joe. Better not suck on this thing. Yeah, I'm like,
that
okay.
is not what I said.
I've got a huge audience. I lost my whole train of thought. All right, it's great talking. And
So yeah, no. Just a piece of advice that you would give to other real estate professionals wanting
Yeah.
to start a niche or niche.
yeah, I think that every real estate professional should have, whether it's divorce attorneys and you go through the training, or it's probate attorneys, or it's financial advisors or CPAs or whatever it is. I mean, I know a guy who specializes in elderly attorney work, and all of his clients are elderly, and he kills it. He's up in Ogden. I think every agent should have, even if you don't go all in on it, you should have a handful of professionals that regularly have clients in front of them that have real estate challenges, and go after those people and build relationships. And even if there's 5 or 6 of those people, to be a real estate professional and have 5 or 6 probate attorneys that you're good friends and that you do a good job
that's
for,
huge.
you know, I look at it like if you're going to prospect, be very, be a little more specific and tactical about who you're prospecting to versus just I'm calling around this house
Just
we're selling.
blindly, yeah.
Yeah. So I think that's the big thing is, you know, go after referral partners that have real estate problems they have to deal with, and you're the solution. Somebody told me like 20 years ago, the bigger the problems you solve, the more money you make. And so I try
More
to
money, more problems.
hey, more money, more problems. So
Exactly. We're gonna wrap now. So
that was ridiculous. Yeah.
no, that was great.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I love that. Thank you for sharing that. What
Yeah.
about so this is my next question.
I'm nervous. This will be a good one.
It is a good one.
All right.
So if you could go back and, you know, here we are, Joe facing Joe to your younger version when you first got into the industry, what would be some advice that you would have given yourself?
Oh man. I would say look around and identify the people that you really, really admire, and you not only professionally but personally, and be very proactive and purposeful about meeting with those people, getting to know those people. If it's a business thing, you like how they're running their business and what that. I think that a business is kind of it's just kind of an after product of the core of who the person is.
Yeah.
And so you see the person
that.
having all the success, but I would say identify the people that you admire personally or professionally and get to know them and be purposeful about just emulating what they do. When I first started, I had a ton of ego. I refused to hire coaches. I was like, I got this. I'm not doing any of that. I didn't join a team. I was like, I am a lone wolf, and it cost me years of frustration. And so I think mentors, coaches, but I think being very, very thoughtful about who you hire and spend your money and time with is critical. Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
Well, and that reminds me of like keeping your circle tight and just how you said it, right? Getting very specific on who you're spending time with or who you're reaching out to.
Big time.
Well, thank you for that.
Was that a deep enough answer?
It was very
Great.
deep and very inspiring.
That's what I was going for.
No, well, thank you. I want to open it up the space. Is there anything else that you would like to share with me or our audience? I think we have so much to learn from you. This is only like an eighth of what we have to look forward to, especially with you working on more classes and things like that.
Thanks. Yeah, I really try to have an abundance mentality. If anybody's curious about the divorce niche, hit me up. I'm a pretty open book. I have agents hit me up pretty regularly that are involved in divorce sales and are trying to figure out how to manage them, or they don't know what to do. And so, reach out if you have a case like that or a home sale and you're caught in a divorce thing, you don't know what to do, reach out to me. It's totally fine. I try to just add value and help,
Yeah.
So,
well, thank you. I love that. And that really is like what I wanted to share with everybody. I appreciate your time. I'm so grateful that we had the opportunity to have you here in our space. I know others will be grateful to connect with you. So if I can just have you share where people can follow you or contact you.
Yeah. So my home address, no, I'm kidding. You're not going to get that,
hey,
weirdos.
If you want to share that, please go ahead.
No, so my website is utahdivorcerealestate.com. And that's where you can find all of our info and team info and all the stuff we do.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, Joe. And thank you guys for tuning in. We will see you next time.
We hope you enjoyed this episode. Please rate us, like us, and share this podcast with our real estate community. The Nova Show Real Estate Record, sharing raw stories of real estate, failures, lessons, wins, and successes. This is all from Novation Title, bringing a different experience into your world so that we can all uplift each other. Until next time.